We're live on Monday Morning Cup of Coffee. I'm Steve Ivy with co-host Brady Hall. We got a lot to talk about. I wanted to start with a highlight of the CSU women's basketball team coming back from a 20-point first-half deficit to beat Gonzaga, future Pac-12 foe, in overtime. We got a bowl game to talk about, and of course, we've got to do a little bit of a wrap-up on the CSU visit to Boulder on Saturday evening. I'm here with co-host Brady Hall. Brady, how are you today?
Steve, I'm doing good, man. Ready to rock and roll on this Monday. Busy week. I mean, I'm feeling the pressure with the Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff right around the corner. So we're trying to figure all that stuff out. But I can't believe we're already to the end of the year, man. It's wild.
It's crazy. Do you have your Christmas tree set up already?
Oh yeah, we're the family that does it. Like, we're not after Thanksgiving. We're after Halloween. We're getting that stuff going. So it's all good to go. Hung up some more lights over the weekend in the backyard. So we get all into it, man.
I love, we just put our tree up yesterday, but I love walking in the neighborhood, taking the dog for a walk at night. The lights are out and it's awesome. It's just such a great time of year. Oh, we got our first comment from Jake. Morning, lads. Got to feel a lot better about the CU game after the Mountain West laid an egg. Jake, I'm not going to get much into the Mountain West laying an egg other than the fact that Loyola Marymount went and beat Nevada on Saturday night after losing by 29 to CSU. That's a favorite of the Mountain West. They were considered top three, and I don't know. That was kind of a weird result, but I think it just shows the ups and downs of college basketball, and that's obviously what makes the sport great. You got to come out and play any given time, and it's tough. The first road game is always a tough game, and CSU experienced it. Let's talk bowl game a little bit before we bring on our guest. While leaving, what CU fan? Well, what bowl game are you going to? I can't say enough about the CU fans. I hope you did. If you watched my stream on Saturday night, I launched. I actually had somebody try and tell me, we have a guest Nique Clifford coming on in a little bit when he joins. Somebody tried to tell my friend Mike Rowe, Cam's Chorizo on Twitter, that Nique Clifford never started a game for CU. Those people are the dumbest fans on the planet. Oh, that's all I'm going to say.
And listen, I'll be honest. There's some I get along with. There's quite a bit that I talk with, on a regular basis. They listen to the show, whatever. I think those are some of the old school fans, maybe. But man, there's a certain group that they're just relentless on there. It's absolutely fascinating. I'm getting a hard time, Steve, because I made the picks. You made the pick too. I finally did it. But they're like, oh, you're 0 for 2. I've picked a lot better on other things. The only games that exist are not just CSU and CU. So it blows my mind. Some of these fans, man. Sorry, I just had to go on a little rant there. But it's entertaining. It's all in good fun for the most part.
Well, if you either pick or you don't pick, you're either right or you're wrong, and you got to have fun with it. I thought it was kind of funny. I saw you getting worked on by a CSU fan.
Yeah, like I'm already getting the CU fans, and a lot of them are trolls, and now I got CSU fans coming at me too, Steve. So, come on, if they think that I really have that kind of power, my picks actually control the outcome, then I actually take that as a compliment. So you're welcome, everybody.
I think it's hilarious that that people, we got to stop this guy from doing this because lo and behold, he's got all the power in the world, and when he picks, it never works out for us. I mean,
yeah. How many times have I picked CSU to win? I mean, I picked them to win a lot. I think almost all of those Mountain West games, I picked them to win and cover, and we nailed those, Steve. So I don't know. People just have a short memory. They don't think about the records. They don't track it. They should, because there's a lot of greatness going on that they need to be paying attention to.
I see our guest is here, but I don't have a camera. There he is. There he is. I want to get him going on right away. Our guest today, Nique Clifford. Nique, thank you for joining us. I know you got class later and like real soon, so we'll get going with the interview. Thanks for coming on. How are you this morning, young man?
Hold up. I think my stuff is messed up.
I think we got you.
I'm gonna leave and join.
Oh, he's coming back. He's gonna
He'll be back.
unplug it and plug it back in, Steve.
There we go.
That's the oldest trick in the book. Nique's great. Excited to talk to him.
Brady is the Windsor Wizard of Oz. Yes. Don't look behind the curtain. I'm here pulling the levers and influencing every game that's out there.
If I could, I'd be a millionaire. I'd be a millionaire right now, but I don't have that kind of control.
All right, we got Nique. You good?
Yeah, my bad. I think my internet had messed up.
It's better than Jorgensen. Jorgensen, we worked for about 20 minutes about 3 weeks ago, and we finally got him. We went in and out. Anyway, we are so happy to have you. We'll get going. We'll get going real quickly. You came back to CSU this year after a great. You've had 4 years of college basketball. Checked out the NBA. Came back. There were a lot of CSU voices rejoicing when they heard you were coming back. And it's not just because of the quality of your play, an all-conference player in your first year in a great Mountain West, but it's also because you're damn fun to watch.
Yeah.
And so people were really, really happy. Let's just get going right away. You came back. You had obviously feedback from the NBA. Can you talk about what goals you developed for yourself coming into the season, and how would you evaluate yourself against those goals 25% into the season so far?
Yeah, I think a big goal for me coming back was just to come into that leadership role for our team, kind of be a main guy that is gonna have to show up every night and challenge myself to, be a everyday guy. And so I think that's something that I've taken a lot of pride in, and just try and get my team better each and every day. And I think I've done that pretty well so far, and I'm continuing to grow in that role. I think on the court, my goals were to come in, be stronger in the weight room, and just learn the game even more so that it slows down for me. And I think that's something I've taken a lot of pride in, just watching film and different things, and it's translating to the court. I would say. Had a pretty good start to the season so far, besides this last game. But we live and learn.
Well, I mean, and it's a long season. You're going to have those kind of games. I mean, watching you guys, watching so much different basketball on a nightly basis, Nique, you can see one night it's perfect. You're not missing any shots. Everything looks great. Even the ball's bouncing your way. Some nights it kind of could go the complete opposite. How important, speaking of that leadership role for you after what happened on Saturday, to be that vocal guy, to be that dude that's leading the group, because there's a lot of season left. There's some big time opportunities. How much does that leadership role really come into effect here at this point?
It's huge. I mean, my team looks to me for a lot of different things, and so I have to be ready to go. I gotta scrap what happened last game and move on, and just make sure our team is in the right mindset going into our next game on Saturday. We didn't have the performance we wanted last game, but like I said, it happens. But we got to move forward and get better.
I've got a question from somebody, Nique. How has your day-to-day changed at all? Has it changed at all this season, given the feedback you got from the NBA?
A little bit. I think last year and years previous, I've been a huge like gym rat, like always trying to work out all the time, and not take time to recover as much. I think this year I've had to be a little smarter. Just talking with like some coaches and different people that I respect and stuff. I have to be a little more intentional and smarter of like what I'm doing, especially with the minutes that I'm playing, like being able to balance all that. It's not always being in the gym 24/7. It's more so, being smart about the reps I'm getting and like going game speed, but also taking time to, recover my body and do more of that stuff this year. So I would say that's probably the biggest difference.
Oh, Steve, sorry, I was.
I wanted to talk about kind of the changing roles thing and coming into the season. the leadership thing obviously is jumping out, but this is probably the first year you've ever been the top of any scouting report. What kind of adjustments have you had to make to your game to deal with that fact?
Yeah, I think watching more film, just seeing how they're really gonna guard me, I think has helped. Especially like when I'm posting up and stuff, seeing where the double team is coming from. When I'm coming off ball screens, see what kind of coverage they're in, different things like that. Knowing that kind of going into the game always helps you. Being able to know, okay, if they double me here, I could just pass right here, and then the big guy's gonna have to make the read from there. Stuff like that. Just watching more film and diving into like their scouting report and what they're thinking. Um, that's been huge this season for me. And then just having the right mindset going into the game. Like, I feel like I'm the best player on the court every time I step on. And I think that's helped me just, go out and um, dominate when I need to help our team win.
Well, that's what I was going to ask too, Nique. When you're sitting down with those higher ups, those NBA scouts, and they're talking to you about watching the game differently. What are some of those things? I mean, obviously you've talked about how it's slowed down for you a little bit more, but certainly it's changed the way you're doing your film study this past season.
Yeah, I think just being more intentional, like I was saying, um, just watching everything. And I think this year more so, especially being a leader, I don't just watch it just for like myself. I have to watch it more so for like how am I gonna be able to help my team in these certain situations, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
Like watching where the help defense is coming from so that I can get my teammate open, or um, watching certain ways the other team is going to guard to, let my teammate know maybe if you make this cut, you're going to be open. Certain stuff like that, of just watching everything from a broader perspective rather than just focusing on how they're just going to guard me. I'm having to watch different things and know different things about, the whole game for my team in general.
So, the this past week, two games, Loyola Marymount and CU, very different in terms of the result, but a lot going on in terms of your game. The Loyola Marymount, you were on pace for a triple double at halftime, really showing off. You were getting the main attention from Loyola Marymount, but you were showing off your scoring skills, your rebounding skills, 12 rebounds in the first half, and you had 5 assists at halftime too. Your ability to distribute the ball as well. That is that something you feel like you had to do to develop your game to become that kind of that all round, not just the scorer, not just the rebounder, but also be the guy on the floor that can really drive the offense?
Yeah, I think definitely, I'm being at the top of scouting reports and stuff now. Um, I'm seeing a lot more double teams and different things of trying to get the ball out of my hands, and so um, I have a good knowledge for the game, and so I'm able to know when I'm getting double teamed, somebody's gonna be wide open, so I have to make the right play instead of trying to force it. It was making just easy reads, and we were getting a lot of great shots out of that. And so I kind of like when they double team because that opens up so many things for my teammates to just get wide open shots, and it makes the game easier for them. And so anytime that a team double teams, I'm kind of like, okay, that's gonna be a good night for us because my teammates are gonna get open shots and they're gonna knock them down.
Nick, what was the you're probably getting a lot of feedback when you go, you're trying out your skill set to see, what that might look like in the NBA. You're probably getting a lot of voices that are talking to you and giving you certain things to work on. Was there one thing in particular that you put at the top of your mind, like this is what I really need to focus on? Because I've been so impressed with, as Steve was talking about, your ability to kind of affect the game, not just scoring, you're passing extremely well, your defense is great, rebounding, all those things. Was there one thing in particular that you really wrote down and took note of and said, okay, that's the thing I need to focus on?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest one for me was the weight room. I wanted to get stronger. I knew I was going to get bumped a lot this season, and dudes were going to be trying to be physical, and try and wear me down. So I knew uh, I wanted to be in really good shape and get stronger this off season. Those were probably the two main things I focus on, and as well as my ball handling. That was probably the biggest thing on the court was ball handling because I knew I'd have the ball a lot more this year, and so I needed to have my handle tight and be able to make plays and stuff off the dribble, which I haven't done as much in my college career because I've been off the ball a lot more. So that's been an adjustment a little bit, but that was something that I really focused on this offseason.
So let's switch gears and let's move on to the game on Saturday. Obviously, a tough loss. Probably and I would categorize it as an interesting bit of a homecoming for you. Maybe a mixed reaction. I saw a lot of people with your parents before and after the game that they love you and your family. And then I heard a lot of booing every time you touched the ball from the CU students. What was it
Yeah,
like? What was it like? What was that? What was your homecoming like?
man, it was weird. It was weird being back in the arena. A lot of mixed emotions. Um, I had a lot of good and bad times there, so it was just crazy being back in that arena and seeing all the people that I used to be around every single day. So it was cool in that sense. The game itself was not how we wanted it to go. Um, we weren't up to par. Like we didn't run our scouting report that we were supposed to. I think we were forcing shots too much and just we just weren't playing like ourselves. And I think that starts with me. I was playing out of character, and I think trying to prove too much a little bit sometimes. I just wanted that game so bad,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that I kind of got out of myself, um, just missing easy baskets that I usually make. I'm everybody's gonna have an off shooting night, so that's unfortunate that it had to be that night. But there was a couple possessions and plays that I could have changed certain things that maybe could have helped us get a run going or something. But um, like I said, we got to learn from it and take the film and digest it.
Were you shocked at some of the? I mean, like the boos when you're hearing that. Like, we get it. This is part of it.
Yeah.
You do you almost enjoy it? Because I know we've talked to Isaiah Stevens before about that, and we'll see that guy like he's not a very controversial type player, but when people start booing him, he like, gets this smile on his face and he has fun with it. How did you feel, man? Because I'm thinking of it. Hearing that kind of stuff would be difficult for most people, but you guys are obviously cut from a different cloth, being so competitive. What was that? What was going on internally when you're hearing that kind of stuff?
Honestly, I try and tune it out, but of course, I heard it. They were going every time, but um, I enjoy it. I think it fuels me and usually helps me play better, but it didn't this time. But I think it definitely gives me an extra motivation, and it's almost a sign of respect if you getting booed, and um, so I don't think it phases me at all. I really enjoy it, and definitely gives me motivation.
As a fan, it upsets me when I see that kind of stuff, only because I don't think people should be treated that way. Number one, and number two, you've never said a bad word. You said nothing but good things about CU in your 3 years there, and I don't know why they would
Yeah.
treat you like you're a traitor when in
Yeah.
fact you left for good reasons, and your career has blossomed at CSU. They should You're a Colorado kid. They should be excited for you, and I'm excited, and so is everybody at CSU. And so it really bothered me. I got another question from Jake. What do you think the team needs to do to get back to the level of play we saw last year?
It's a good question. I think um, just continue gelling. I think there's a lot of stuff we got to continue getting better at. But we got to find a way when we're not scoring the ball to be better defensively. I think that's what helped us a lot last year. Even if we did have maybe an off night offensively, I think defensively we were really good in the country. I think we were one of the top defenses in the country last year, um, from like effective field goal percentage or whatever those stats are. And so I think that helped us get a lot of wins last year. Of just being able to get stops when you're not scoring the ball. And so I think there's been times this year where we have been really good defensively, and we've shown that we could do that. But I think that has to show up more consistently as a team. Um, and it's not just one-on-one defense; it's just like team defense of helping each other out, especially when we have a smaller lineup compared to who we just played. We got to really be there for each other to help each other out on blitzes on the post and different things like that.
Nique, what's the week look like for you guys now? Like in terms of practice, we got a couple of days off here. What does that schedule look like the next few days?
Yeah, we'll have practice the next couple days. I think we have off on Wednesday, and then we'll do two practices before our next game on Saturday. I think we leave on Thursday to Vegas, and then we'll practice out there on Friday again. Get ready for our game then. But definitely, I think today is gonna be our first day back on the court, so we'll take in the film, see what we need to get better at, and go out and apply that. But then we're turning our attention straight to VCU. We're gonna scrap that game and try and get that out of our minds.
Did we talked a little bit about the kind of the CU homecoming? I saw Justin Michael from DNVR Rams posted a picture of you with Miss Peggy after the game.
Yeah, nah, they had wanted me to go see her before I left, and so it was pretty cool seeing her. It's been a minute since I have seen her, but it's always good to see that she's doing well. She's a historic fan, um, and definitely an icon over there. So it's definitely was cool to see her. It's been a minute.
Well,
You know,
Steve,
you're
Steve,
so well loved there. I saw like I said after the game, I saw Evan Batty come over to hug your dad and mom, and that just your reputation there amongst the players and the good fans is is
That's how you
is
put it. There you go.
yeah. Go ahead, Brady. I'm
well,
sorry.
Peggy, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Peggy's one of those fans like that. That woman knows she knows so much about all things CU, and she carries that respect for you. Wanted to be able to talk to you, and so that's what I look at. Is you mentioned like a legend to CU like Evan Batty, like those are the ones like they get it. Yes, there's the trash talkers. We're seeing it on social media at a small scale,
Yeah.
but the real get it. They have that respect, and your story is the reason that I love. I mean, there's things we can talk about NIL and transfer portal stuff, but your story specifically is what I absolutely love about the transfer portal because you had a chance to find a team that really believed in you 100%, where you're going to get that time, you're going to get those minutes, and look what you've done with it. So I love that story, and if you're a real fan following along, you get that. So I was glad to see you at the end of the game talking to some of those true Buffs fans.
Yeah, no, it was cool. There's the ones that, of course, love and respect you, and um, there's a lot of those over at CU still, but there's of course the people that don't maybe understand the background of why I left, and they just think I just left to go over to CSU, the rival school, and if I went to any other school, I probably wouldn't get as much hate, but
Yeah.
that's part of what comes with it, and I understand that. So people gonna have their opinions, and it is what it is. But they have the bragging rights, unfortunately, right now. But hopefully, Hopefully they play again next year and it could be a different outcome.
So, Brady, we got to let Nique go. You got any final questions, final thoughts?
No, I don't think so, man. I know you guys will bounce back from this. I'm excited to see what you guys do this weekend and catch up with you a little bit later on too, Nique, man. But we love watching you guys. We know not every game's going to be perfect. You're going to have some of those games too, and certainly Saturday was. So I'll be really excited to see how you guys bounce back from that one.
I appreciate that. We're definitely gonna grow and get better from it. It's unfortunate the way that we had to learn from that type of game, especially in a rivalry game like that. But I think it's definitely gonna help us over the course of the season.
So, Nique, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're a busy man. We're going to let you go to class. You got class. You probably have finals coming up. You got practice. You got games. I have a lot of respect for college athletes and the life how they balance their life. But I just want to let you know I will be stopping by practice and dropping off your official Monday morning cup of coffee mug. We got your name on it. It's a coveted mug. There's only 8 of them in existence. But I'll drop it off to you at practice this week. But thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. Have a great week. We'll see you at practice.
See you, Nique.
Oh, that's sweet. I appreciate it. Can't wait.
You bet. We'll see you later.
All right. We'll see you.
What a man. What a young man. I don't know how I think he was being really honest, Brady, about how he reacted and maybe tried to force things and did things out of character on Saturday night. You could see it. And then the second half, I think maybe they got him settled down at halftime, and CSU played a much better second half and at least made it look respectable in the second half and showed that they could play. But what a young man.
Yeah, no, he's a great dude. He's a very reserved guy, and I love his story, Steve, of when he decided to come back to CSU. We've talked about that with the coaching staff too, how nobody really knew what was going on because Nique's the kind of guy that's like, yeah, I'm coming back. We don't need a parade. We don't need it to be big news. I'm just coming back. We don't need to make it all about me. That's kind of his mindset. That's his attitude. And I know he wanted that game badly on Saturday. I did too. We all did. I like to watch both programs, but certainly I cover CSU a lot closer. So I thought maybe they would be able to get it done. But that was an emotional basketball game. Certainly a different environment for Nique going back there to Boulder. So yeah, you know what? It is what it is. It's like I tweeted out, Steve. Basketball in December. I mean, I have fun predicting and trying to predict, but if I actually deep down thought every pick I made in December was bulletproof, I'd be insane.
Yeah, it's we underestimate college basketball. We think, oh, these guys have been around forever, but the first time they go out on the road, and a lot of teams don't play road games until conference schedule, and you'll usually see a little bit of a disaster the first time they go out on the road. It's just inevitable. 2 reasons. Number one, they're dealing with a crowd. But secondly, they're dealing with a gym where they're not used to shooting, and the shooting will typically degrade a little bit. And that's why a lot of times, the teams that do well on the road are teams that score points in the paint and get to the free throw line. They rebound, and CSU struggled with that. And I think they'll learn from that. Got to ask Swole. Here we go. Medben staff off base with doubling down on defense, statistically the worst offense since his Furman squad in 2015. I think the biggest issue right now with this team is, like I said, I think they're struggling to score points in the paint, and I think it's due to the fact that they've gotten caught with 3 young bigs, the best of whom is struggling with an injury, Rashawn Mbemba. You've got a talented freshman, but he is a freshman in Kyle Jorgensen. And you've got Jalen Crocker-Johnson, second-year player as well. I've talked to a lot of coaches, including Nico, and they'll tell you the hardest thing to do is play with young bigs. Usually, the good teams in the country will have a 4th-year big and a 3rd-year big as a backup, and CSU is caught with a 1st-year and 2 second-year bigs. And then obviously Nikola Joppa is their 4th big. He's another second-year player. They're young. They're learning, but I think that's Jake, I think that's the real issue is we're just struggling to get the ball inside and score in the paint.
Yeah, well, and Steve, I mean, going to practice, we were there last Monday, and how many times, and this isn't a knock on Kyle at all, but how many times in the middle of practice did coach kind of pause practice and ask Kyle, hey, what should you have done here? And Kyle's thinking through that process. And then, as you mentioned with Rashawn, him being hobbled to start the season, you know, you don't really get into that flow how you want it. I think back, I'm not comparing the two, but Isaiah Stevens was hurt to start the second to last year for him. And it just, that kind of rocks everything. That throws you off. That's not part of the game plan. And so, unfortunately, they've had to throw younger guys a lot more minutes than they were ready to do. And I think you're just going to see some of those growing pains. It's not an excuse. It just kind of is what it is.
Yeah, the thing with Mbemba, I'm a big Rashawn Mbemba fan, and I've looked at his games he's played. When he's played 15 or more minutes for CSU, they're like 9-0 or 10-0 over his career, and when he's played less than 15 minutes, they've lost games. He played a little less than 15 against CU the other night. His hip was bothering him in the second half. You could see it, but he played just under 15 minutes. He was the only plus minus for CSU on the floor on Saturday night.
Yeah.
He's important on the floor, and we got to get him healthy if we want to see this team progress. The other guys obviously have to get better. Nikola Joppa gave some good minutes. In 5 minutes, he had 4 rebounds in 5 minutes, and so we'll see what happens with Joppa going forward. Maybe he'll get a little more time. Who knows?
Yeah, another player I'm excited to see if they can take that next step, but that's certainly easier said than done.
So we gotta start thinking about wrapping up. We've gone our half hour. What you got coming this week, Brady? Obviously, you got the Nique Clifford Crazy Carl's show sometime later in the week. What else you got coming?
Typically, we get him on Thursdays, but we kind of move around depending on his schedule and everything. We'll get into the college football playoff craze, all of that. I've been thoroughly entertained by all of it. Talk about a weird weekend for the Nuggets too. We'll certainly recap the CU-CSU game as well. I couldn't help myself, Steve. On Friday, I was feeling good. I was like, you know what? CSU's going to win this. I didn't. Is it end all be all? Do I absolutely 100%? No, I'm going in. We're having fun with it. But I thought if CSU played their best game, they would get away with that. So we'll talk about this one, that one today on the whole show.
Well, that's you got a busy week. You got the Broncos coming back online too. So playoff as they move toward the playoffs, every game becomes almost a life and death situation. So that'll be fun to follow as well. Any other final thoughts before we call it a day?
No, Steve, I just appreciate you having me on, man. I love it. Great to catch up with these players. You do a great job of getting these guests on, getting Ken DeWeese on last week, whether it's the coaches or the players. I absolutely love it. And let's have some fun. Let's see this Rams team bounce back and try to put it together and gel more, as Nique brought it up. I figured that was going to be an issue for Colorado State with a lot of the new faces and no Isaiah Stevens. There's a lot of transition going on for Colorado State. So it is, unfortunately, it's going to take some time, and I don't know ultimately what those goals look like for CSU, but it could be a lot to learn here in this, even throughout the rest of December.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. It's the game this Saturday is a big one with VCU. They're a quad one opportunity. They're top 50 in the net rankings, I believe, and so it's a big opportunity, and it'll be a good challenge and a good test. They are a very, very good basketball team. So looking forward to that, and then coming home the following week, a little Christmas break, and then conference season kicks in real soon. Conference season's 2 weeks away with a game against Nevada, and then New Mexico at home on the 28th, the same day as the bowl game. So it's all going to start coming fast and furious, but I'm excited. Anyway, let's call it a day. Brady, once again, thanks for coming on. I have so much fun doing this show. This is my way of starting the week. I hope everybody is enjoying starting the week with their Monday morning cup of coffee. By the way, don't ask me to start selling merch on my site. I'm going to keep this as a limited edition item. I'm never going to sell merch. I'm not interested in monetizing like these other people do. But maybe if you're nice to me and hit me up, I might throw a cup of coffee mug your way. But thanks everybody for watching. Brady, have a great week. We'll keep in touch, and we'll see everybody next week.
All right, Steve. Appreciate you, man.
You bet. Bye now. Go Rams.